So I don't know. That option seemed a little weird to me, but it works well.
And so Compose is pretty much just like a one-click install kind of thing, or is there some configuration that goes into
No.
initially setting it up in a new project?
Yeah, it's just pretty much a one-click. The other thing you do is you go into the admin section and just set up your user accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can see, like, it's not, I mean, there's a ton of posts and comments and whatnot on there, and I mean, it's only a 48 meg file size total, and the data size is 8.29 megs. So it's not, Mongo doesn't take up a lot of space necessarily.
Sure.
The other thing I would recommend is installing Kadira, and it gives you insight into what your Meteor app is doing. Let me go back to the dashboard here. So you can see, like, the pub sub response time is hovering around 100 right now. The method response times, they spike every once in a while. These are probably posts if we go dig deeper. CPU usage seems to hover around 10% usually. And there's about 64 to 65 people connected right now. Kind of shows you your memory usage as well. And then you can dig into the pub sub here, and we can sort by response time. And we can see whenever someone pulls up a user profile, this seems to be the slowest publication. But if you look, it doesn't have a high sub rate. It's like 0.02 per minute. Whereas like this post list users, it's 287 milliseconds, but we're getting about a half a sub a minute, a little over. So this would be a good place to maybe optimize and dig in and look. You can look at the chart here. We can click on the response time, and then you can actually pull up a trace of the subscription, and you can see post list was the slowest returner, and actually for some reason it got ran twice. So 3 times actually. So there's probably some kind of optimization in here that could be done in the subscriptions to make this a little faster. So.
Do you have any thoughts about the best way to set up your collections in Mongo?
The best way to what?
Collections in Mongo. You know how you set up your document structure. Have you had any experience of doing it one way that works better than another?
Yeah. So I think to me, like, I tend to denormalize my data a lot of times. So I'll have collections for each kind of thing in an app. So for instance, I do a training class and we build a Twitter clone, and in that one, I've got users and tweets, and we've got the idea of mentions. Those are tracked separately. Gosh, what else is in there? I think that's about it right now. It's pretty basic, but I try to keep those in separate collections, and then we do lookups based on the keys that are being passed in. Does that answer your question, or were you looking for something different?
No, that's what I was wondering.
And your most recent post kind of touches on that, the comments one, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, kind of a fun way to drive a join. In here, I take an ID off the route, so like /post/ID, and then I subscribe to both the post and the post comments based on that post ID. So it's kind of an easy way to get that data to flow in correctly without having to go to too much trouble.
I have a question.
Sure.
This might be too far of an aside, but have you looked at PureDB? Do you have any thoughts on that kind of merging?
So I haven't actually used it. As far as I can tell, this is only a Meteor thing. And it looks like it's really just a layer on top of Mongo. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. Like, I haven't investigated it at all. But, I mean, it could be interesting. I just, again, like, I'd prefer, for this piece of my architecture, I'd probably prefer something that's from MDG itself right now. But there are other interesting things you can do as well. Like I've got some blog posts in the hopper. One of them is about consuming DDP data as a client, but I'm also trying to get someone to write consuming like an interview style post about consuming DDP data from a different server. And so I've got some guys I know here in Cincinnati. They've created an Elixir app, and they've created a DDP server for that, and they're exposing the Elixir app to Meteor through DDP, and so they're able to just say like meteor.subscribe, and they can point at the Elixir server, and the data starts flowing out that way. So I mean, the possibilities are endless when you think about it from that standpoint. You could go make a Rails app backed by MySQL and use the DDP library for Ruby and like start publishing data that way as well. So there are a lot of options out there.
Last night I was made aware of a Mongo Commerce site specifically. Kevin, do you remember the name of it?
I think that's
MongoCommerce.com.
MongoCommerce.com. No.
Maybe a hyphen in there.
Forward.
Are you thinking about reaction commerce or reaction commerce?
Yeah, so these guys are building reaction commerce, which is built in Meteor. Is this maybe what you were thinking of?
Well, this was actually a presentation by somebody. It was a .NET presentation.
Oh,
he was using a site called Mongo Commerce, and the rates that they were charging for space and processing on their site were really cheap.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, did anyone else have any more questions?
I did have one more, and this may be antithetical to the philosophy behind Meteor, but with the reactivity built in. But if you looked at caching at all as an option to improve performance?
I honestly haven't really had to think about that a whole lot. I would think, if that's a concern, you could probably move some data to Redis. Redis is pretty zippy. But again, I know that there are people that have also worked on sharding, so that's another way you could probably enhance performance without getting too crazy. Abigail Watson's done some stuff there, I think, with sharding. But no, I really honestly haven't gotten to the point where I've had to cache a whole lot. I can't think of any instance where I've cached anything.
Yeah. By the way, this is Ty Moodley was the presenter was one of the presenters, so this may just be his thing. He called it Mongo Commerce.
Yeah. He needs docs. Someone should email him and say, write some docs, man.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. August.
Okay for presentations.
Yeah.
So one more question. On the Heroku side, you mentioned you've tried a couple of different build packs, and the best one was something with horse in the name, which I thought was weird.
Well, so it's funny because if you read through the comments, I think he even says somewhere on his GitHub page or something, he's like, I went with horse because why not?
Do you think that is that like a rapidly evolving space, or you think people are coming around and starting to condense on that one? So I guess full disclosure, I work on a product that's built on Cloud Foundry, which is also built on build packs, but I have no idea what direction to head in terms of hosting, whether we should use kind of straight Node.js or whether we should use a specific build pack dedicated to Meteor.
I would use a specific build pack dedicated to Meteor. This is the horse build pack. So it's admit hub / meteor build pack horse. And basically, the reason this one works and the others don't is because no one's maintaining the older ones. And when 09 came out, obviously with Meteorite going away and the native package system coming into play, they had to make some changes to the scripts, and so this guy's kind of been keeping it up to date, and it seems to work well. So, oh yeah, here, why horse? There are a gazillion forks and branches of various build packs remixing the words Heroku, build pack, and Meteor, many of which are abandoned or outdated or broken, and it's really hard to keep them straight. So this is the horse one. And it works. I remembered, the horse build pack.
As documentation goes, it's okay.
Is this guy or this community like active in the community, or is it just some random guy? Or
No. Charles Ditar, I hope I said his name right. I've seen him helping out with Velocity as well, so I don't think it's random. You can see here he's got commits from this month and last month. So I honestly, like, this space probably isn't changing that much anymore. So with 09 there were big changes, and then when 10 came out, something broke the older build packs again, and so he had the fix for that. And then there's not been a whole lot that's happened since then. You can see, like, most of this is just README stuff from the looks of it.
Yeah, I got burned by trying an old one and it didn't work. And then I went to the Node.js one and got it to work using instructions on the Meteor site. And
yeah.
Then, that was the way I was going to go. I still am sort of leaning that way, but maybe I'll keep an eye on this one and see. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And the other thing to consider too that was weird for me with Heroku hosting is that a lot of the build packs use some kind of like node version detection. Let's see if we can find it in here. Compile. Yeah, somewhere in here. Yeah, they use this semvar.io/node/resolve. And for some reason, it was coming back with a weird version. It wasn't coming back with the version I wanted. So you can manually override that as well with your own version, and I would recommend that rather than letting it do this curl lookup. And you just somewhere in here, you just set, there's like a file you put in here, like a node version file. Man, my machine's slow today. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. But anyway, that was the one gotcha that I had. Is I ran into some problems because it was installing the wrong node version, basically, and it was because that curl call was coming back weird. So.
Was there anything that you wanted to, since you were so kind to do this presentation, that you wanted to tell us about? I know you do the Meteor Club thing. Did you want to?
Sure. Yeah. Just if you haven't, I'd say just go to meteorjs.club, pop in your email address and name, and you'll get like weekly emails about the blog posts that I'm doing. And I do a Q&A, so there's probably one coming up next week with Sam, who's watching. But I haven't set a date yet, so like I'll email that date out to the mailing list, and you can come and we'll kind of do like a live question and answer. I imagine a lot of that will be about velocity. And then the other thing that I've started doing is Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/meteorclub, and if you sign up for like the $10 per month support, then you'll get access to the Slack chat room. So it's kind of fun. Got a couple people hanging out in there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Josh.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
If you're ever down in the Raleigh-Durham area, you should contact us and come out for a beer.